Hello everyone and welcome back to my YouTube channel ICSE Java Made Easy. Myself Janvi Appala, and in today's video, which is the continuation of the Java course, this is the second video, and here we'll be understanding what Java really is. And this video is entirely about the basics of Java. Now, let us start. The first is just in the last video I told you that what programming is, what are the programming languages. Now, the programming has its own different two styles. First, procedure oriented programming, and second, object oriented programming. Now, let's understand what procedure oriented programming is. Now, procedure in programming terms can be also called as functions. So, in procedure oriented programming, the program is divided into functions or procedures. That is, there will be a step by step execution, that is, one by one execution. Now, what are the features of this execution program? First is top down approach. Second is shared or global data. Third is less security. Now, let me tell you the main thing, shared or global data. This means the data which is once declared in the procedure oriented programming language, it can be accessed by any function inside the program, due to which there is a very less security provided to the data. But as you all know that data is very important. So this led us to the development of another programming style, which is object oriented programming. So the less security provided to the data is the only biggest limitation of procedure oriented programming, and it is suitable only for small programs. And what are the programming languages which obey this style? C, Pascal, Fortran. These are all languages of procedure oriented programming style. Now let us go to the next programming style, which is object oriented programming. Now, what is object oriented programming? As the name itself means, it is a programming language which is generally focused on objects and classes. So in object oriented programming language, there is no step by step execution of functions or anything. Here, instead, an object or a class combines both data and functions or methods inside itself. That means when you are encapsulating means combining together the data and the data and methods inside an object. It means you are providing a lot of security to the data. This is the main reason why we use object oriented programming languages. As you can already see in the features that it follows bottom up approach. Second is better security. Why better security? Because here the data and the methods are combined inside a class or object, and it is suitable for large projects, and it also uses the concept of code reusability, which we'll understand later when we'll understand that object oriented programming has four pillars: polymorphism, encapsulation, abstraction, inheritance. So these are the four pillars on the basis of which this object oriented programming style works. And what are the languages? The languages are Java, C++, and Python. Java, C++, and Python are these languages who obey object oriented programming language. Now, the Java which we will be learning is an object oriented programming. So we'll have to learn in detail about each and every pillar of object oriented programming. Coming to the next part, here POP is nothing but procedure oriented programming. If you see in the program, int balance is equal to 1000, and there are some functions written. One is for deposit, one is for withdraw, and one is for display. If you look at it, each and every function has an equal right to access the variable balance, which means the data is not at all secure here. Any function can modify data. Thus, this limitation, as I mentioned earlier also, is the main core reason for shifting to object oriented programming. If you realize here, a class bank account is made, private int balance is made, and there are two functions. So, and when you write that private, I'll tell you about these access specifiers in the coming chapters. But for now, private int balance means if anyone outside the class wants to access this int balance, they will have to access this data through the member methods. That is the member functions, which is either through deposit or through withdraw. They cannot directly access balance. Now, these are the major differences which I mentioned earlier itself, that procedure-oriented programming is function-based, object-oriented programming is object-based. Here it follows top-down approach, there it follows bottom-up approach. Here it is less secure, there it is more secure. What is less secure or more secure? Less secure or more secure means here the data is less secure, here the data is more secure. Why here it is less secure? Because the data is shared. Why here it is more secure? Because the data is encapsulated. That means it is combined together inside a class or an object. Here it is less reusable code, here the highly reusable code. Here it is best for small products, here it is best for large projects. Now, now here comes the main part, that is whenever you will have to whenever you have to code Java inside your system, what are the prerequisites? So the prerequisites are only two. First is JDK and the second one is IDE. Now, what is IDE? IDE is Integrated Development Environment, and JDK means Java Development Kit. Now, let me first tell you about what IDE is. IDE is Integrated Development Environment, which means I will teach you everything about Java. Now, Java Development Kit will perform all its duties of converting the dot class method into dot Java method into dot class method, which will let get converted into bytecode into machine code. Okay, but where is the code? Where are we gonna find the code? So what happens is your IDE is a notebook where you write the Java code. For example, when I'm telling you the entire sentences and all, you need something wherever you have to write that sentences. So you'll use notebook. So similarly, how you use notebook for writing sentences, in the same manner, we use BlueJ as a notebook to write our Java code there. And Java Development Kit will help us to convert that English like code into the machine code, which will later give us an output. So here let me explain you this all in detail once again. So JDK stands for Java Development Kit, JRE stands for Java Runtime Environment, and JVM stands for Java Virtual Machine. What is JDK? JDK contains JRE. JRE is Java Runtime Environment along with the compiler. So inside the JDK, once the .java file comes, it is compiled by the compiler, which gets converted into dot class file. And this dot class file, so what Java runtime environment does, it contains Java virtual machine and Java libraries. So this Java virtual machine, which has the dot class file, that is the Java bytecode, converts it into the machine code with the help of Java libraries. And this machine code, so this JVM is specific to every operating system. Like for Windows, it is different. For so here one thing you have to keep in mind, that dot class file is independent of environment or platform. This JVM is for every operating system. So JDK is the main hub inside which JRE and JVM are located. Just keep this in mind, that JVM, that JDK is the one who is responsible for making dot class file with the help of compiler, and Java runtime environment contains JVM, which converts that dot class file into machine code. Now, this is what the flow of Java program looks like. First is a .java file, then we have a Java compiler. Java compiler converts that .java file into .class file, and this .class file gets converted into machine code with the help of Java virtual machine. And finally, after the machine code, we get the output. Now, let me tell you about what BlueJ is. So, first you will have to install BlueJ from bluej.org. As I am on Windows system, I have installed Windows. Now coming back to BlueJ, this is what BlueJ looks like. Here, it is very simple to understand. Project is here. I'll be making a new project whose name would be YouTube Video 2. And inside this, I'll be creating a new class whose name will be Hello World. Always keep in mind that whatever your class name becomes the folder name. Now inside this, there is a pre-written code. What we'll do is we will remove this comment and thus we will return this entire thing. Now, for any Java program to run, we need a main function, as we all know. So we will be writing our main function, which is public static void main string arguments. And inside this, to print hello world, we will write system.out.println hello world. So yeah, we will now compile this. So here, as you can see, it is class compiled and no syntax errors. So to run this program, right click on it, click on void main, click on OK, and here you will see an output terminal which says hello world. So this is how your first Java program looks like. We will learn more about this in the upcoming video, that what is public, what is this. Always remember that, just keep this in mind, that whatever your folder name is your class name. So this is what your Java code looks like. So without this main function, this program won't run. Always keep this in mind. So with this, coming to the conclusion, in this video, we learned the difference between procedure-oriented programming language and object-oriented programming language. We understood about JDK, JRE, JVM, and then later, in the last, we understood what BlueJ is. So BlueJ is nothing but a notebook on which you write the Java code. I hope if you are till this point, you would have understood everything, whatever I have taught you in this video. So if you like the video, do like, share, and subscribe to my YouTube channel, ICSE Java Made Easy. Thank you so much.